You're listening to the Mr. Ackerman Rant podcast 3000. We're available on Apple Podcasts right now and Podbean. You go to christianackerman.com, click on the podcast show, and you can watch all our episodes. Just recently, last Monday, we had on my wife. She talked to a lot of the viewers. We went live. And this is just a little side one that I'm doing that will become part of the show as well. I don't think this one's going to be as long. We'll see what happens. I like all my podcasts, all my rant shows, the Mr. Ackerman Rant. We never know how long they're going to go, but I do have a idea of what I'm going to talk about, and then we end up talking about something else. And so our show is every Monday. Weekly, every Monday. We put out an episode on YouTube at 6 a.m. Later, it'll come out on that same day on Apple Podcasts, and you can watch it there. We're still figuring out our format and figuring out how we get out our show to the viewers out there. So we're going to be putting our stuff on more streaming services for the podcast, and we're going that route. Plus, I started doing this. I do make movies. I'm a filmmaker. I like to make movies. I'm still making movies. I'm still working on the movies that we're still completing right now. And our movies there's a few movies that some of our fans and the people that are in those movies know that have been taking us a little while to finish. So we've been working on those still. They are still getting finished. And a lot is happening. A lot has happened between those films. But they are being finished. There's a lot of little elements we're doing to them, and they're just taking time because we make these movies with either small budgets, no budgets, and so they take a little time. So some other projects sometimes take priority. They get shelved for a moment, and then these other projects, like I'm working on a project right now called Kung Fu Slayers, and right now it's taking priority over a lot of our other projects right now. But anyways, with that said, those of you who want to catch up on what's going on in Ackerman life of us here, the Ackermans, we moved to California recently. We packed up, it's a year ago this October. So right now it's November, beginning of November right now when I'm recording this. And while I'm live right now, it's November 8th as I'm recording this. And live right now, so if you're watching this right now, it's right now. And I started recording this really late. It's like 11 o'clock California time, fall back daylight savings time. Yeah. And so anyway, so I'm gonna record this little piece. And those of people, like right now, I can't see if there's anybody even watching this right now. I have no idea. But I'm doing this out of necessity because my phone ran out of memory, and I'm going to use Instagram to be resourceful to record to Instagram so I can have this because I'm going to record it anyway. And I could set up a nice camera, but I was going to do this on social media anyways. So why not do it this way? So if there is anybody watching, here's a way you get to see behind the scenes a little bit before I start the show. So I'm going to start it. So it's going to feel like I'm going to start it like 3 times, different times. It's really just, I'm getting the ball rolling, and this is how I start my stuff. And tonight I'm going to try a little different format. I even said recently I would try some different ways of doing this. So we're going to see how it goes tonight, and we'll see what happens and see how this works out. So in a part of my office / studio. We do a lot of filming here. This side is one part where we do the podcast show. There's a whole another section where we do we do screenings and also film things, videos. We've done a lot of green screen work for the church recently that I work for. I'm a media director at the church, and we do, like right now I was working on some content for them, and then later this evening I work late into the night. Sometimes this week is one of those weeks where I have to work late into the night just to meet deadlines and stuff like that. And that's just the lifestyle of video editor, filmmaker, content creator is what I do basically. So that's kind of what I am. Also, I have those of you in Montana that watch my Montana peeps, I have an office up at the Ferroplex Productions. If you drive by them in Hamilton, you can go down over there towards Corvallis and go off the old Corvallis Road, the Ferroplex Productions, where they shot a movie recently. They shot a big, huge feature film a year ago. And they are still in post-production on that film as well. And I happened to be a part of it. That was my friend Kyle who was filming that movie. And so if you drive by there, I have an office there. We're going to be up in Montana December 19th to the 9th of January. Vaguely, I think that's the dates. I know this definitely will be up there December 19th. I believe it's January 9th that we'll be leaving. So I'll be up there, probably be over at the studio. Maybe we can have a meeting. We can hang out. Maybe I'll be filming from the studio. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So it could be something really exciting. Maybe I'll do a tour of what's happening there. All that fun stuff. Anyways, but that's the Ferroplex Productions. You can look them up and stuff like that. And actually drive by there if you live there in Hamilton or Corvallis area in Montana. Or if you live in Missoula, drive up there, take a road trip up, and go check them out. Anyhow, hello. So I'm recording this. I'm this is all new to me. It reminds me of the days I used to do live television for the Access Television Center I used to work for. We used to do a live show like Ascot Live. We used to do just random live shows on there. It was very different, but kind of similar. We'd have like a phone you can call in. It's kind of similar to this where you can like chime in and comment and stuff. And it was kind of similar, but it was like, Access Television. It's kind of good old, if you ever watch Wayne's World, if you know what Wayne's World is. It's weird me saying that. Some people don't know what Wayne's World is. Party on, Garth, party on. That's where I worked. I worked at a place like that for years. Before I went on becoming a film instructor. From there I became a filmmaker and all this stuff. So now I'm just rambling, but that's part of this extra feed that you get if you watch this, or if you follow my Instagram, you get to watch this blah, blah, blah. And then we'll do the edited clean version for the YouTube people and for the Apple podcast. So, I am going to get started now. Keep saying that, but I am. I'm going to try. Here we go. Hello, my name is Mr. Ackerman, and you're listening to the Mr. Ackerman Rant Podcast 3000. Thank you for joining us here, wherever you are. If you're on the Apple Podcast listening in, or if you're on our YouTube channel, awesome. Or if you're here on our Instagram channel, great. Or if you've been here watching already, you've been here. Thank you. Our Instagram viewers get a little extra. They get the pre-show and the after show. So if you don't know, if you're not watching this on our Instagram, go over to the Mr. Ackerman official. You can go. There's links in our descriptions. There's links at christianackerman.com. Head over to christianackerman.com. Follow our Instagram channel, and we have this cool show on Instagram as well. And you can actually watch the video. You can see extra before the scenes where it's a little more, you get to see how it works. And then also a little bit after we do the show. So I just want to talk about, I was thinking about tonight, I was thinking about all the things we've been doing. And also we've been having a planning meeting at our church. We've been talking about, we used to call it in the school system. I was a public high school teacher for 6 years, teaching media, creative media. And also I worked in after school programs for a number of years with the MAPS Media Institute, with the late, blessed, awesome Peter Roston. So I got to work with him, one of the OGers of fun after school programs. Also worked with a flagship program in Missoula, Montana, in the public school systems. I worked for a number of years, almost 19 years, I believe. Yeah, it was about a little shy, maybe 19 years working in after school programs with the community access television. with after schools, like in the schools, like pretty much all the schools in Missoula County, and also in the Grant Creek area and stuff like that. So it was really cool that I got to work and do that and work in these kids, all ages, like 5th and 6th graders, down to even young kids. To also, I worked with the U of M a lot, the University of Montana out there in Montana. Go Grizz! Worked with them. A lot of college kids out there would come in. I would teach classes and stuff like that, and that was a really fun time. So, without further ado, I'm gonna get to the thing I want to talk about. And also, I find myself, I'm always going through this. No matter what I do, I'm always going through this. And when you're going through it and you're thinking about where you are at the moment, it stinks really bad. And it's not always pretty. It's not always like, yay, I'm gonna do this next. Let me put it this way. I was telling Danielle tonight, I'm always excited about, I don't like to think like, oh, look at where we are, look at what's going on, look what's happening, look at the problem. I'd rather instead look at the problem. I know I want to look at it and go assess the situation, go, okay, here's the problem, here's where I am, but here's where I want to be. But if I keep looking here and not looking over here, how am I going to get over here if I'm not looking at where I want to go? I keep looking back. Look at my mess here. I have this mess, but I have to look over there. If I want to go that way, I need to go that way instead of going back to my mess. I don't want to keep looking at my mess. So I want to remember it so I can remember where I've come from. I want to remember it so I have some drive to get out of it. And so I was kind of talking about that tonight, and like other people I've heard have said things like that, where they even our pastor has said he'd rather not be dwelling in where he is at the moment, but having vision, looking at where he wants to go. And also when you talk to people that are successful in what they're doing, they're always talking about vision. They have vision, they have direction. Even I was putting together it for this meeting we've been having this week. I put in one of my papers in my plans of it's kind of like at the Access Center they would call it a wouldn't call it a planning meeting, but they would call it a I can't think of the word right now, but I'll get back to it. But it was like a lot of times businesses, but what I'm trying to get to is some businesses, what they do, I wanted to they want to reflect on how the year has gone. Like they do look at, okay, let's look at it. Let's look at what we've accomplished. Like they're moving into the new year, so they look back and they go, okay, some people call it I almost had it. Not a procedure plan. It'll come to me. Anyways, that's how I am. That's how these things are. I'll mess up words and stuff, but I'm gonna keep going. But anyways, you keep moving forward. You trip, you just keep walking. People can laugh at you tripping, but you just keep moving forward, right? But anyways, strategic plan. Wow, it's like I looked back and there it was. So some people, like our church calls it a planning meeting. Some people call it a review, planning and review meeting. Some people call it a strategic plan, meaning they have to know where they were and then have a plan to how they're going to go. Like this is going to be how we're going to get ourselves in the right direction so we can go to the vision we're going for. So strategic plan, right? So I'm talking about strategic plans, which I also talk as I like visions. Like this is what I see. We see ourselves in 2024. This is where we see ourselves. We do this all the time. We used to do this. I don't know if any of you, when you go to school, you would like go and you're like, okay, this year I'm going to be this person. And they even make movies about it, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I have a hair in it. No, just don't touch the cheese touch. No, they even talk about like that kid, like the first movie, he's like, he wants to be popular. A lot of movies, like those are strategic plans. Those are like, okay, now what do I have to do to become popular? There's a goal, there's a vision, a goal where you want to end up. And so one of our, I've had many goals. Like I remember one time was, at the time, I actually was visiting here in California, and Hollywood Video was still around. And my brothers and my brother Chad, and then my brother Chase told me like where the Hollywood Video was out here at the time. And then my brother Chad's like, "Oh, if you're at Hollywood Video, check out these. There's this rack of movies, and they remind me of like movies you make." And I was making tons of films. I was putting them out there. I already successfully got my films um, I got them on Amazon, which was really amazing. It was just like I found a way, and I got on Amazon, and it was the greatest thing. It was before Amazon was like really really big, but it was still like legit. If you got yourself on Amazon, your movie was legit because you get a DVD, a nice quality disc, and they would do this whole thing, and they even ended up doing Blu-rays, and it was really cool with the physical media. It was really awesome. And so I remember that's a whole nother like vision, like getting my movies out there. Because at the time it was hard. It was like I remember when I was doing my films and getting them out there, YouTube was still new and stuff, and so I didn't really quite understand it. And that's going to come into play here in kind of the part of my vision and stuff of talking about vision. And I remember I went to this Hollywood Video place and I looked at the rack of movies. Actually, my brother was with me, my brother Chad, and he showed me. And then these videos, and I was like, "Who are these?" And it was like, I think at the time it was like Brain Damage Films, which is also midnight releasing, and there were some other films. There was even some like, what was it? There was one called like Dark Films or something like that. That was like a sister to Lion Gates films and all that kind of stuff, which comes in play later. But I remember I was like, oh, how do they? And they look like filmmakers like me that making the actually worse quality movies than I was. I was making decent quality movies, but these guys were making like really bad ones that were getting out there, and they were in a video store. And I remember I just wanted to be like that. I was like, well, I got my movie on Amazon. Why am I not in a video store? These are rentable, and you can buy them or you can rent them. And I was like blown away by that. And I was like, oh, and instead of going like, awesome, cool, I got mad. And I was like, wow, that the you want the coveting of like, I want that, for a brief second. I was just like, oh, it's like kind of like I feel like when I see other people doing it, it's like, why didn't I know about this sooner? That kind of thing. So I see this and I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, how can I get my movies there? I don't know how to do this. I don't know. I can go up to a movie video store maybe and ask to put the movies in. So I started researching online, and I found out there's these two brothers that started putting their movies in Blockbuster Video. And I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. But at the time, Blockbuster Videos were being closed down. And Hollywood Video was still standing, but Blockbuster Video was closing down. And they were closing their stores. And we thought they were just like, consolidating. But we didn't know the big fall was happening. And this big kahuna wave of Netflix was coming. And they were new in town. I remember people having they still do the paper, in the little envelope with the DVD, or you can rent them like that still, I guess. But yeah, so that was really cool. That I remember those days. That was like really cool. And the Red Box was out, and those things, and the Red Box is still around. But anyways, I just remember there was a little shift happening, and I was like, I want to get in a video store, and I have movies. I have movies that are done. They're out there. How do I do that? Well, anyways, so I had like a simple vision, like a goal. Like I want to get my stuff out there like that, and that'd be cool. That's legit. That gets your movies out there, and you can make some revenue and make some money with it. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Anyway, so I remember we were making a movie early in the early 2000s, and this was about that time. It was like early 2000s. We were making a film called Wisconsin Project X. A cheesy like horror movie, fun horror movie in my backyard, and we were running amok around all the towns in the valley. From Missoula, we were filming all around Missoula. We filmed in Stevensville, and we filmed just all around, like up to Stevensville and around the Missoula area in Montana. And so we filming with these kids we met. we were having fun making this like fun movie. We're doing like zombies and making like doing makeup effects and blood, and we're doing all the tricks. Like I was doing all my tricks I've learned over the years making horror movies, and we're making this movie, Wisconsin Project X, and we're having a blast. I'm making this film with my friends. We're doing silly things, and then this a lot of cool things. This is a whole Wisconsin Project X is like this whole other thing, another story in itself. But I'm gonna use it part of this thing about like going for your goal and getting having vision, and how important it is to look at the vision where you want and not look at it like, oh, look at my life, it sucks, and or whatever it is you're mad at. It might not be your life sucks. It might be like you just like, I want something more. I need to right now. This is but I want to be over here. And I'm just saying there is importance to looking over there, looking at where you want to go, and getting there. And then it never stops. It always continues. There's the next thing and the next thing. It'll never stop. And even when you reach it too, sometimes I always think about like if I get there, and I finally get it, I pretend like what it's gonna feel like when I get there. Then what? Like once I'm there, then what? And so that's another video too where I can go in detail about. But I'm going to talk about just getting to your goal, and then once you get there, then there's always a next goal. There's plenty more. You have to keep going, and then what you learn from it, right? But I'm just going to use that as a small example. So so I remember. I was like, we're making this movie. I remember looking at all these movies in Hollywood Video. I'm like, how do they get these movies in there? I want movies that'd be cool. Little did I know that like the video stores were going away, and the rental stores were going to become like just a fun thing to do occasionally. Like you could go, like if right now, knock on wood, we'll stick around for a little while. If we go up to Montana and there's a grocery store called Super One, and you go into the store in Super One, I know in Hamilton, I haven't checked in Stevensville, but if you go in the store, they have their video rental store still in there, and you still go and get new rentals, even new releases, and they still have the old box TVs up in there. And if you want a little nostalgia, go into Super One and go rent a movie. It's not open very long. It doesn't stay open the same length as the store. The store's open 24 hours, but you can go look at it. If even right now, if you're watching right now and you're in Hamilton, Montana, you can go and check. Like right now, you can leave, turn this off. I'm gonna post this. Hopefully, if everything works out with my phone was being a little weird. I'm gonna post this. But anyways, and I wanted that. I didn't know it was going away. I didn't know it was changing, but that's what I wanted at the moment. And so I was like, I hope this happens. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I started researching like, how do you get your stuff up there? Because I just got my stuff on Amazon. So I was like, I got like DVDs being sold on Amazon. I was making a little buck, from my movies that we made out of $0. I always say the empty pockets of we made this film. And I've made tons of films. So we're making Wisconsin Project X. We're having a good old time. We're making horror movie awesomeness. And we're having fun. We're laughing. I mean, we literally had fun making this film. It was hilarious. We were always cracking jokes. It was awesome. We ran amok around Missoula. I don't even know if he's still around, but Officer Shubin was the crime prevention officer at the time while I was making that movie. And we became acquaintance friends. And I didn't have to get a permit or anything because we weren't really big. And we weren't really we would always be on property where we asked the owners, like, hey, is it okay if we film on your property? Like, it would be in a public area of Missoula. We just have to let them know. And they'd be like, yeah, sure, that's fine. That's cool. That's awesome. That's great. We like it. And then I just have to tell Officer Shubin, so if a police officer or a public person was walking by, they wouldn't shoot us because sometimes we have fake guns or we have they're all plastic, or we'd have a fake knife or something like that, and people's blood, or we'd have makeup and look like zombies. And so we had to notify everybody. And sometimes it was really cool. While we're filming, the police would show up and they would hang out and they would sit and watch us. And then other people around Missoula would be filming us with their phones, taking pictures and watching us do this stuff. And and the old phones, I guess. And then we would actually bring people in off the street. That sounds weird. But these are like normal people. Like we're in the nice area of Missoula, so there was like people that they were like not gonna hurt us, but they were like watching, like passerbyers watching us film, and they ended up in the movie, which is really cool. And like anytime you see like a group of people running away, it's normally some people we ask like, hey, do you want to be in the movie? That ended up they were like watching us, like a mob of people watching us make a movie out in Missoula, and we would do this out downtown. So anyways, we're making this movie, and we pretty much get it pretty much wrapped up. And when we're wrapping up, or what I do while we're in the midst of it, I make trailers or teasers to get people excited. So I had this trailer already, and we're getting really towards the end of like finishing this film. And there's always like extra things you need to add to it. Like you have to do pickups, you have to redo audio. Normally you have to film more things to just make things make sense. And so one of the things we picked up or added was my friend Jesse Head. We added him in as a police officer, parallel to the story of what's happening in this movie. And we added him in, and we had this whole new trailer now that kind of helps with the dynamic of the story and tells people what it's about. And so we put that all together. I put that together one late night, put it out, and we have this new thing called YouTube. It's not that new, but it's been around. I've been posting videos on it, and I post this trailer on YouTube, and I'm still thinking like I need to get a Hollywood video, and I post this trailer on YouTube, and people start asking me questions, like just my friends, and they go, "Hey," all of a sudden there's like a message board, and they start asking me questions. They go, "Hey, when can we see this?" And I go, "Well, once we wrap, we're gonna do the usual thing that I always do with all my films. We're gonna get a theater, and we're gonna have a public premiere just there in town in Missoula. We're gonna do like a little premiere." And so I decided to do that, and I told like the usual deal. That's what we're gonna do. And then some other people were commenting like, "Oh, that's awesome. That looks really cool. Let us know when it's done. That's cool. How'd you guys make this?" We made it out no money, and we did it with like friends and family, and with people, Missoulians and stuff like that. And that's how we made this movie. And so we do that, and somebody comments on it, and I don't know who they are. And now I'm just saying like, I want to get my movie into a video store. That's all I'm worried about. And this person comments and goes, "Don't put it out or show it to a theater." I'm like, "Who's this?" "Yeah, I can." They're like, "Contact me. Here's I'm gonna email you," because I think my email was up. I had like some information. "I'm gonna contact you." And so through email, they contacted me, and it turns out this person was After Dark Films was the name of the company that contacted me. It was a company, a distribution company, and they're like, "Is the film done right now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm still putting it together." And they're like, "Cool. When it gets done, contact us back." So then I'm getting the movie wrapped up and stuff like that. And then some more distribution people start contacting me. That's a whole nother story in itself. Go to Fastcoast retrospective. Go to that. It's part of my other podcast show. It's a small little mini series. We go in more detail about that. Anyways, all of a sudden, we have the film wrapped. I am now in negotiations with a film distributor to distribute my film worldwide. And this guy, now I have an agent or a aggregator who's talking to me, a rep, a distribution rep, talking to me, saying, "Hey, this is what you need to do. This is what we need. Get this, do this." And here's the thing. My goal, I'm just trying to explain something here. It's funny that how life, and why I'm telling you guys this really is selfishness a little bit. I'm trying to remind myself of like how things can go. Okay. So, right. I'm like, I have the goal for this vision over here. Get my movie in a video. Very simple. Some people have bigger visions. Like, I want to become a football player. I want to get a cool car. I want to wear blue jeans. I don't know. Anyways, I want to eat salad. I have no idea. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm just rambling. Okay. But anyway, so I have this vision to get my movie in the video store. So I'm still doing that on the side, figuring that out. Like, how am I get these movies that I have done already in a video store? And researching and watching people's stories and stuff like that while this is all happening. So here's the thing. Working with this distribution rep, we get my film all sent. I send out a hard drive. For years, I would put together my DVDs. I'd make the menus. I do everything, the audio commentary, all that stuff. I still built all that stuff for this film, Wisconsin Project X. I still made all that stuff. But normally I have to put it all together, what they call DVD authoring. I would do all of that. So I would be acting in my films, doing all this stuff, learning how to do all this stuff, tearing my hair out, going, how do I make a movie? And really like struggling through it, staying up late at night, kind of like what I'm doing tonight, figuring everything out. And that's what I would have to do, blood, sweat, and tears. And then finally I'd be like, oh, got my movie out. And I finally figured it out, got it on Amazon, the old Amazon days. And I was selling DVDs out there. And two, I didn't see it coming. There was that tidal wave. Remember, Netflix was coming, knocking down Hollywood Video, knocking down, Blockbuster already. It was killing Blockbuster. At the time, Blockbuster, we were in Missoula, was just shut down. They were still everywhere else. Because in Missoula, to me, is a smaller town. I'm from California. I'm in California now. But they still had a Blockbuster. They had some Blockbusters still going. So I wasn't thinking like, oh, it's going to be shut down forever. I thought it's going to be around for a moment. We didn't know like it was the end of an era, right? Anyway, so I basically I'm getting my movie all out. I normally do it all myself, but this time I get everything done, like the contents of the stuff, like the audio commentary, the behind the scenes, the extra deleted scenes, the bloopers, and the actual feature film itself, and the trailers, all that. I don't have to put it together on a DVD. They just want it on all that stuff on a hard drive, and I send that out. And that was a really cool feeling because I was like, I'm done. I don't have to do anything. I just wait. And then it was really cool. They sent me like all these designs of the DVD cover and the poster art. This is what we're thinking about. And I still have these original poster art works. And then they send me this one. I looked like, wow, that's creepy. That looks like 28 days later because it like looked very similar to that. And so I was like, oh, okay. Or it looked like Resident Evil almost. I was like, oh, sweet. That looks cool. Cool. And they're like, we're thinking, they didn't like ask me. They were like, what do you think? Cool, you like that? Oh, that's awesome. But we're going with this. This is the one we're going with. They didn't like let me like, no, you can't go with that. They're like, this is what we're going with. And I've never had that before. So it was kind of like in this like awesome, like, wow, this is cool. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't really like when things are happening, sometimes I don't realize I'm in this awesome thing until it's like after it's happened. So all that goes on. And now it's doing its thing. A lot of things are happening in that process. A lot of things. I'm still looking at this goal over here. I'm like going, gotta get my movies on here while I'm talking to distributors, which is really exciting. But I'm like, oh, it'd be cool. All these movies that I have that are done. This movie I'm waiting on to see what happens with this distribution. Then I get word back that my film has been picked up by pay-per-view. And at the time, I didn't even know pay-per-view still existed. So that was really cool. And the big one was Netflix had picked up my movie. And I was like, what? My little backyard movie? Wisconsin Project X? Wait. Huh? So I share, they tell me at the distributor says you got, start marketing so people will go and plan to watch your movie when we put it out. And I'm like, okay. So I start putting out on Facebook and all my people. Like, yeah, I remember first I put out something on Facebook. Well, the local newspaper contacts me about this news about me, like, getting on, like, out there on Netflix and all these worldwide release. I was going to be on all these other platforms and stuff. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And I'm still looking over at this video. So cool to be in the video. That's cool that I'm going to be out there. That's awesome. And I'm just like, when I'm even talking about it and thinking about this, sometimes you can be in the midst of something great and you don't even realize it. And I was excited about it. I was so excited. I was, but I don't think I really quite get when you're in the midst of it. You don't quite get. I wish this moment, that when this moment happens again, or could be happening. I hope I'm seeing. I'm always looking like this could be it. Like even right now, something could be happening right now, and we don't know it. We don't know that we're in the midst of it, of something being created, something big, while we're going for a certain goal. Anyway, so I'm doing like, oh, it'd be cool to get the movie into the video stores and stuff. But I'm like, I'm thinking, well, now I got distribution. It'd be really cool if I got my movie in a video store or something like that. And I see now Target is selling my movie, or was going to be selling my movie, and I think it's gonna be in the store. It's not in the store, but it's like it's selling my movie, and Turner Classics is selling my movie, like the DVD of it. And then Netflix, I'm not excited about because they're not like a brick and mortar like store. You have to like they're online. You have to like so I'm not excited about the online thing. I'm like oh that's cool. I'm excited about it. I'm bragging rights. Netflix is up and coming. It's big at that moment. It is a big deal. People were like Amazon's a big deal. It's like all these things were like growing. I didn't realize it. And and all I was like, boy, if I got in a video store and I got into this, and I was just like, but I want to, but I haven't got a video store yet. I haven't been in a big movie theater. I've shown my movies into theaters, but not like mainstream. I always have to get a theater wanting to show my film, working out a deal with them, all that kind of stuff. You have to work out where they they take money at the door with the tickets and stuff. I always had, always people were very gracious, like especially Joe from the Ferroplex was always awesome. And Joel was awesome with the Crystal Theater at the time in Missoula. And then there was all, like tons of people I can mention right now that tons of people that may come up as I'm wrapping this up about like people that helped me out screen my stuff. Even later on, my movie played out in Big Sky. That was so great just because of great people that I met along the way that I helped out, and they helped me out later, which is really cool. That's a whole nother thing. But what basically happens, okay, and wrap this up because I've been blabbing off a million miles a second. That's why I love this program. I can just go get this out and go. And this is what happened, which I was so excited about, was the Netflix. It was awesome. But the local paper calls me and says, hey, we want to do a story on you. We can't believe you got this stuff out. Who the heck? And we know who you are, but tell us about yourself and how you did it. And they put this spread out, and they like literally a front page spread. I remember interviews, color. It was like amazing. I was like, wow, I was so blown away. And it was awesome. I remember it came out, and Peter Roston at the time I was working for the Maps Media Institute. The day they had their first Maps screener as this Maps Media Institute in their own building, I kind of stole the thunder a little bit, not unintentionally. I remember he looked at me, he goes, you stole my press, because they were doing a screening at the Ferroplex Theater at the time of all the kids' work that we've been doing, like as an end of the year thing to show, like, hey, this is what we've been working on. And it was kind of something we all came up with. I thought, hey, when I make a movie, I always show it at a theater. Maybe we should do that with all the kids' content, all the work that they do at the end of the year. And he was like, yeah, it's a great idea. And I know a guy, Joe, and that's when me and Joe became friends. So that was really cool, and became friends with his sons and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Anyways, I get this paper out and not paper out, and I'm looking at it, and Pierre Rawson sees it, shows it to me. All my friends are like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. And it started to change things for me. I started actually getting better offers, and also I started doing speaking engagements at like other places. People would fly me in. A couple of places flew me in to do like I found myself speaking in front of an audience and teaching them how to do horror special effects, or how to basically make a movie out of nothing, basically. I got jobs because of it, little side jobs of with films and stuff like that. I also got into other people's movies, which is really cool. So, and working on those because now I was an expert because I got my movie out there. It really was really cool. And it was like not, I was on mainstream everything. I was on Netflix. My stuff wasn't I didn't have anything in a video store. Not that I know of. Maybe there is a video store out there that carries Wisconsin Project X. Somebody who watches this would have to let me know if at any time they remember seeing it. Wisconsin Project X. Anyway, so I'm stoked. I remember the distributor sent me a number of copies of Wisconsin Project X, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And immediately, too, I was like, how am I going to mess this up? I was already having this self-sabotage syndrome hitting me. Like, they're going to find out, like, this movie it sucks. This is a sucky film. Why are they watching this? Why is this happening to me? I remember I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't enjoy what was happening, but I was excited about it. So it was very messed up. I was like, wow, I got a movie. I got a movie out there. Oh my gosh, a lot of people are going to see how bad I'm such a bad filmmaker. You know, it's just very mixed emotions, all this kind of stuff going on. But it excited me too. It's like, I made a movie. Now I'm going to make my next movie. That kind of thing. So here's the thing is, I did eventually get my movies into a video rental store called Hastings. I got all my movies in that video store. It was cool. People would buy them. We didn't have any rentals of my movie in the video store, which is really bizarre. So I was like, kind of like, okay, kind of got it. I got in there. That store ended up closing down. I remember they gave me whatever movies I had left. I had like a few, like a small box. I remember coming in with like boxes of movies, but it was kind of nice. I'd have a box, and I didn't make money off that, but I had they had some movies left over that didn't sell. And I remember just before they were closing out, they also gave me the last of my payment of what movies sold, and they gave me my movies. And I remember walking out of the store going, this place is closing down. And I got into a video store, and all the Hollywood Video had closed down. This was like one of the remaining places. Blockbuster Video was gone. While all this was happening, my movie was still on Amazon, still on like selling on Target and all these other places, and still on Netflix. While all this was happening, I wasn't aware of how awesome that was that Netflix had my movie while all these things were coming down. And still to this day, Netflix has the DVD. You can rent the DVD on Netflix of my Wisconsin Project X to this day. And at this moment, I don't know, it could change at any moment. So whenever you're watching this, it could even be like tonight. It's not available. I don't know. But at this moment, you can rent the DVD on Netflix. Out of all of this thing, I remember going, I want this goal. This is the goal I want. And on my journey there to this goal, the vision I had, I was like, I want to get movies in the video store. A lot of other things happened. I got a movie into Netflix. It really jump-started my career as a filmmaker, a professional video editor, doing professional creative videos, being in other movies, being an actor in other films. Still to this day, that's what I do. Also, what I do now, currently, it totally changed my life. Also, at that moment when my movie was being picked up and I was worried about the video store, it started my business, Fastcoast Productions, became a legitimate business, then later on becoming an LLC. All these things happened while I was on Vision looking for this video store, and this happened. I was making a movie. So here's where I'm going to take this. There's goal. You have goals where you want to get to. And sometimes as you're going on that course to get that goal, sometimes it's like, oh, this is not how, it's getting harder. And then you have to pivot. Okay, we have to go around. There's a mountain now, or there's an obstruction or a road closed. Instead of like some people just go road closed, they give up and they back off. I kept going and kept going. And because I kept on going for this one little vision, I get in a movie store. I was still trucking and keep on moving. I was living life. I was keep on making things. I was being creative, and still on my way there, all these other things occurred on the journey to my goal, my vision. I got a number of things out of it, tons of things out of it. It was one of the funnest times of my young adult life. I was 27 at the time. It was like between 27 and I remember I turned 30 like right after the movie came out. So it was like a few years went by, and I remember all this stuff was like, it was just like a great, amazing thing that happened. All these things happened while I was going for this one thing. I did end up achieving my goals. Not quite like how I thought it was going to look. I remember though, the one key thing, the one important thing I'm talking about here is besides it, you can take out of it, never give up and all this, but I always think this one's kind of odd and funny because I was worried about getting my movies in the video store, that kind of thing. And my movies were selling in like Target and stuff like that online. Everything was online. And I was like not as excited about the online part. Sometimes while we're going for our goal, we're so busy looking at that, we're not there, and we don't even see the amazing things that are happening under our nose at the moment we are going for this. We keep looking, we're not there yet. But as we're going there, there's all these amazing things happening right here, right now, and you're not aware of it. I wasn't aware. I wasn't so appreciative. Now when I look back at it, I'm more appreciative of what happened. I mean, I got a business out of it that I still use to this day, Fastcoast Productions. I became a professional video editor, director, writer, producer. I successfully created a movie that got distributed worldwide. I then after that kept on distributing more movies going out there. Then I later became very excited when we would get on Amazon streaming and other things like Tubi. Right now is Tubi TV and Plex. Very excited when my movies are on those things. Very excited. And now it's a whole different world out there on streaming. So I'm very excited that even when anything happens, I'm very excited that even people see my stuff. I'm very excited if I have a goal and on the journey there, I have to sometimes go, not look back at the mess I'm having, but I want to remember that I'm leaving that behind. I don't want to have that and I'm going on to somewhere else. Because while I'm going on to that other thing too, I need to enjoy the journey. It's all about the journey and all about that. But you're not going to have a journey. You're going to be floundering around. You might be just walking around in a room. Walking around, I don't know, what are you doing? I don't know. Where are you going? I have no idea. Find out where you're going. Have vision, have direction. And on that way of vision, on that journey, when you're going for it, instead of just like stressing over how much you don't have it, you're going to have it. You're eventually going to get it. But also appreciate the things that are happening while you're on your way there. Because on your way there, there's a lot that's happening. A lot of things are happening along the way. A lot of good things. Yeah, you're going to have all these bad things, but a lot of good things are going to be happening while you're on your way there. If you don't go on a journey, if you don't go somewhere, you're not going to bump into the next person. You're not going to see this person. Whenever I go for a walk, I always bump into people. Oh, hey, how's it going? Sometimes we'll find something. Wow, I never walked in this area before. Sometimes you go on this new trail and it's scary, this new place, you're going to go, I'm going to climb that mountain. I want to go on the top of there. People say it's really cool. I'm going to go try it. You go and climb that mountain. You get on the top of it and you look around. You're like, really cool. And then you think back of like the walk to get up there, like how hard it was. But then you're like, oh yeah, but we saw that really cool creek with the pool in it. And we got to like enjoy ourselves. And that was really awesome. We took pictures around there. Oh, we picked berries and we got sick and we had diarrhea. No, I'm just kidding. But like we camped or whatever it was. We got chased by a bear and now Barry's gone. No, I'm just kidding. But we have the journey is so important too on the way to the vision. That journey, the now part, the good now, what you're doing now, but not sitting and sulking in what you don't have. Oh, I'm not there. I'm not there. Look at, I'm still here. Stop looking at still here and go there. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy what's happening on the way, on the journey. Appreciate those little things. They're going to end up being the big things that you never know that are going to help you in other things. All right. I hope that was something that helps somebody. I had a whole nother thing I was going to do. I told Danielle tonight I was going to do something else. And this is the one I want to go with, is enjoy the journey. My name is Mr. Ackerman, and this was Mr. Ackerman Rants podcast. And we're available on Apple Podcasts and also ChristianAckerman.com and also Podbean. But go over to ChristianAckerman.com and you can watch all our other podcasts. Thank you for watching this podcast, this particular episode. And thank you for those, if anybody was live, I couldn't really see if you were live. And thank you for those comments. If you commented, thank you. And if you're watching this right now on Instagram, you get to see the full raw thing. So if you're watching this right now or listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Podbean, or you're over at ChristianAckerman.com, you're watching this, go over to Instagram. We also have links right here in our descriptions, and go to our links, our Instagram link, and follow us. Go to Instagram and you'll follow Mr. Ackerman Official. Follow that and you can listen to some more Mr. Ackerman Rants podcast 3000s right here. So my name again is Mr. Ackerman, and you've been watching a Mr. Ackerman Rant podcast 3000. Thank you guys for watching.